Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is going to contain my first ever clear of Surtr's Devouring Flame on the Legend difficulty in co-op play. I was using Pietro for this first clear in the second phase, and used Humanoid Zodiark here in the first phase, alongside my teammates who are playing Yukimura, Summer Verica, and Gayla Alex. You'll see the team for Water in Phase 2 consists of Gayla Emile, as well as Sandolphin and Gayla Mascula. And I gotta say, right off the bat, this was a really fun and very engaging fight. It was definitely a challenge. I spent the better part of 10 hours over this weekend trying to take on this fight and learn it, and it really posed a significant challenge to me. It reminds me of some of the older fights in the endgame of Dragalia Lost, where you needed to read up on guides, you needed to optimize your builds, and so I want to say a big thank you to everybody who helped me with this run that ended up being my first clear, but also those who helped me practice and gave me advice on the rotations for the fight, the builds for my characters, and so on. This one was really a team and community effort in order to get this down, so very excited to finally get the clear on this. Of course, this was the final piece of endgame content that released over the summer and kind of the last big update for Dragalia Lost, and it took me until now to finally get a clear on this. Had not been really attempting it in co-op, but had done it in solo play. So I had some rotations to learn for co-op for sure, and in the first phase it was really all about synchronization here. With me playing Humanoid Zodiark, one of my responsibilities on the team is to place a Sha Wujing debuff zone, and I need to coordinate with Summer Verica to place that at the right time, and also need to coordinate with my other team members who are both using Bahamut as their dragon to deal a lot of damage to Surtr right around this point in the fight. So you'll see we've kind of set things up here. We've applied some frostbite to the boss, we've put some debuff zones. Now we have an opportunity, while the boss Surtr is standing in the middle, to place our debuff zones and deal a lot of damage. I also have Force Charge to get a second debuff zone up that I placed there, and as I roll to safety, some of these Bahamut attacks go off. The coordination is looking really good. There's still a little bit of HP left for Surtr to get to half, so we're trying to force him to get to half before he puts up a shield and some regen stacks. Blazing Resistance is the name of that move, and we barely do. And it's amazing how that one moment of burst makes such a big difference in the tempo of this battle. If you have to wait through those Blazing Resistance stacks, all of a sudden the first phase can take much longer. And yes, you can get through it a little easier with some of your characters in Phase 1, like Humanoid Zodiark is going to do a lot of nice standard attack damage, but with a character like Pietro for Phase 2, we needed to save as much time on the front end as we could. And of course, that wasn't even, the fastest rotation possible. I've seen clears of this less than 3 minutes for the whole fight, so I know that this was a little slower than that for sure. But considering we're learning the fight as well, I feel like this went pretty well overall. At least a couple of the people in this run, it was their first clear, so that was very exciting as well. In the second phase, as Pietro, I have blindness resistance, which means I am susceptible to getting stunned, I'm susceptible to burning, and also susceptible to Scorch Rend. And here, unfortunately, I am burning due to the screen-wide AoE. So normally, during combustion, while there's 2 Sha Wujing debuff zones out, I would want to become Ciela and use my dragon skill and my vulnerability stacks, have them apply via basic attacks, but because I wasn't able to shapeshift, I didn't get off my skill in time. Probably should have fired it immediately, but didn't fire it immediately, was trying to kind of get into the red area of that AoE combustion attack. So a little bit of damage loss there. That might have helped us push the overdrive gauge down a little bit closer to break, but we already anticipated kind of going into things, and having gotten to the water phase a couple of times, we were pretty much anticipating it was going to take us a while to get to break. We were going to have a longer second phase, and that was kind of our intention here. So it wasn't a huge loss, that Ciela situation, as long as we were able to clear in time. Now here, with this move, you can't really deal more than 1,000 damage to Surtr until you get rid of those. And luckily, we got rid of them, but also luckily, I barely placed that away from us and somehow did not walk into that lava that was on the floor. I thought I was going to die there for sure, but I didn't. Here's where Surtr puts up Blazing Resistance in the second phase. If you are able to break before then, you probably can KO Surtr there, depending on your team comp. But with our team comp, we kind of figured, you know, we're not going to be able to break here, so we have to be prepared to deal with this Blazing Resistance. You can only do standard attack damage on that shield, and not only that, but Surtr gives himself Daystar Restoration, I think that's what it's called, stacks, which are regenerative stacks. So as long as this shield is up and he has those buffs on himself, he's going to be healing a lot of HP, and we're not going to be dealing anything to him. So it's a very high priority to try to deal as much standard attack damage as possible to get rid of that shield, and then to immediately dispel as much as we can so that Surtr's no longer regenerating as much HP. Luckily, we do that in such a way that we don't break Surtr while he has the shield up, because that would be a really horrible break for us. We wouldn't really be able to do much. And I no longer have an affliction, so I will be able to drag in a timely manner. This attack, I actually had targeting me the last time I played this, and so honestly, I just really didn't know what the safe zones or what to do when it wasn't targeting me, so I kind of treated it as though it was. But then we get this attack, and the first time we got to a break with this Pietro team, this is where we had break happen. But now we're obviously a little bit delayed relative to that first attempt that we had where we got this far. So personally, I'm playing it very conservatively at this point. Like, I'm not even getting near those attacks that could one-shot me because I'm terrified that they will. And I'm trying to make sure I don't get afflicted here because then I won't be able to shapeshift. But luckily, I am able to shapeshift, and just look at the HP bar. The absolute damage, the absolute carnage wrought by Beast Ciela is incredible, such that even a mediocre character when it comes to damage output like Pietro, just by having the nuke and the vulnerability and everything that Ciela brings through her standard attacks and skill, it's really, really powerful. So was really excited to get this one. I didn't necessarily think it was going to work out with Pietro when I was going into things, but I figured why not give it a shot? It was still taking me quite a while to learn the first half of the fight anyway, and I'm really glad that it did. So I want to say thank you again to everybody who helped me out with this. This was the last in the Legend series of the Sinister Dominion on co-op, so I only have one endgame fight left at this point, and that is Master Difficulty of Primal Midgard Swarmer. I'll see you then. Thank you as always for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.